Morning everyone, today is Thursday, the 28th or something like that of May, and I am feeling motivated. Yesterday I made a video feeling inspired, and today I feel motivated to be inspired or inspired to be motivated. I don't know which one comes first, but that's how I feel. So, first, I need breakfast. So I'm gonna have some more of that, what's it called? Glutinous rice balls with sesame sauce inside. Not the healthiest breakfast, I know, but today is a workout day. I am back on my Nike Fit workout, and I've gone and followed a bunch of Instagram people to get some motivation, and I'm going to get back to my fitness levels from before the pandemic. I'm even considering buying an exercise bike at home because I've got a lot of time at home and I can't get a treadmill because this place, the noise, the vibrations, everything just is too easy to be passed on. But I could put an exercise bike either on the balcony or in the spare room. So I might get an exercise bike, we'll see. That way I can trim down and shred down because I've got a lot of excess weight going on here and here. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling. How are you feeling this morning? It's not morning. Damn it, did you see the time? It's after 1. Is it after 1? Hey, no, I'm looking at the clock back to front. It is 25 to 11. So it's not too bad. 25 to 11. I've been awake already about an hour and a half. So yeah, doing all right. Right, workout number 1 is complete. Later, I'm gonna do workout number 2, he says. It should be 1 a day, but I missed a few days, so. The first one was so short, I can catch up. The first one was so short this morning, so, the first one this morning was so short, so I can catch up with the other one later on at the other end of the day. I think I'll do that this evening, like 7 or something. But yeah, feeling good, and gonna see how long this motivation can stay with me. And today I'm gonna get back on the blog again. Oh, Oscar, too many things to get out of my system. So blog and vlog, those are my outlets now. And on the back burner, I put the business thing, but that's something that I need to look into as well. I've got 2 years before I come back to the UK. And in that time, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do when I get back. Right, it is the evening already, so quickly. I've been watching a podcast. It is Kevin Hart on Joe Rogan. And it's pretty good. Kevin Hart is really good to listen to. And Joe Rogan, I really like that podcast as well. Although Joe Rogan has decided to give up his YouTube and go to Spotify. I'm not too sure about that. Because, well, firstly, I've just left Spotify to join YouTube Premium, which is a little problem. But also because I don't think people understand how this works. Yes, Joe Rogan is the star. He's the great thing. But he has his podcast, which is currently on YouTube. Just because you can take Joe Rogan and put anything, like any project with Joe Rogan is going to do well. But you can't take the show from YouTube and put it onto Spotify and expect it to do just as well. That's impossible. Like, because, for a start, I won't be there. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who doesn't have Spotify. So I understand what Spotify is doing. I understand the getting people to go over to that platform. What's his name? Keemstar and some other YouTubers have also got deals with Spotify as well. I understand the logic, but if Joe Rogan was doing something new on Spotify, I think that would be much better. But to take his show from YouTube and only exclusively have it on Spotify, I don't think that's going to work out. I think his show's ratings, the numbers, everything's going to go right down. Everything's going to go right down, and I just think that it's bad business. Bad business. The star is a big part of it, yes, but the platform too is also a massive part of it. Do you think if Steve Jobs left Apple and went and worked for Microsoft, do you think that people, like all the Apple fans, will just suddenly switch and go to use Android phones, use Microsoft phones? Do you think that's going to happen? No, it wouldn't happen. Yes, Steve Jobs was amazing at Apple, and yes, people like Apple products, but it's the combination together, the platform and the person, not just the star. So good luck to Spotify with this little plan. It's not little anyway, it's costing a lot of money from what I'm seeing, but it's silly, it's bad business, and they'll learn the hard way. Because I already know people who really like Joe Rogan and calling him a sellout and saying They don't even have Spotify. So why would they join Spotify to listen to Joe Rogan podcast? I don't get it. If you're already on Spotify, yeah, but you're not gonna. Anyway, I'm gonna repeat myself, so just stop. Yeah, Joe Rogan, take the money, but you've just killed your show. Anyway, so back to Kevin Hart in that podcast. Really good podcast. If you haven't, go find it. It's Kevin Hart and Joe Rogan. It's just from the other day, so very recent. And in there, Kevin Hart was talking about just being prepared, being ready. And when you're practicing or when you're training, just train your heart out, because you don't know what you're training for. You don't know what you need to be ready for. And he talks about his accident. He had I think it was a car crash, and he pretty much broke his back, broke his spine. And he shouldn't have been able to walk again. But because he'd been previously training and working out and whatever, I guess Dwayne Johnson's been helping out with that, or not, I don't know. Anyway, because he was working out like crazy, his body was in really good shape, and his body was used to sort of like recovering, you know? You work out, you work your muscles to death, and then your body needs to recover. So it's used to that sort of process of recovering after intense workout, tearing up of the body, tearing up of the muscles. So when he broke his back, his body was still in that sort of state of mind of recovery. Sure, you don't recover so easily from a broken back, but just because his body was in that sort of state, that sort of, you know, that kind of athlete state, he was able to recover. He was walking after, I think he said 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks, something like that. And now it's 8 months later, he's able to run, he's able to jump, he's able to do almost everything. He said he's at 98%. Now, for someone that shouldn't have been able to walk, that's like a crazy recovery. Maybe he was lucky. Or maybe it's to do with the fact that he was ready. His body was ready for something like that to happen. But his point was, when you do something, do it as best as you can. If you're working out, if you're training, train as hard as you can, go as hard as you can, because you never know when you'll need that skill or when your body will use what you're training for. You are not the one who decides when it's going to be used, right? You don't know. So just be ready at all times. Get ready for everything. Get your body ready, get your mind ready, get everything ready. And I just thought it was really good. So go to Joe Rogan's podcast before it disappears onto Spotify and find it. Kevin Hart, awesome podcast. All right, I'm gonna go eat. Right, folks, I'm about to go to bed, but before I go to bed, I have to tell you, I've just watched the end of the Joe Rogan and Kevin Hart podcast, and in there they talked about Dave Chappelle, and I've heard about Dave Chappelle, heard this name so many times, but I never watched a single one of his shows. But because of the way they both talked about him just now, I just had to. So I went onto YouTube, of course, and I found one of his shows and watched it. And I just almost cried because I was laughing so hard. And then I watched another one. And then again, I almost cried because I was laughing so hard. And then I just watched another one. And I feel like, oh my God, all these years when people have been talking about Dave Chappelle, all these years, I'm sure when I was little, like, I was hearing people talking about Dave Chappelle, and I heard the name, and I never, ever watched his show until now. And I haven't laughed so much in such a long time. So if you haven't already, don't be like me and just have your preconceived idea about what he might be joking about, because that's what I did for all these years. And I just got around to watching it, and I couldn't believe what I've been missing all these years. It's so funny. Or maybe it's because it's so late, I don't know, but it's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you had a good one, and I will see you tomorrow. I have no idea what I talked about today. I'll find out when I'm editing the video. So, see you tomorrow, subscribe, and let me know what you think about all this stuff. All right, bye.